Ever stumble on a diamond in the rough or a needle in a haystack? Today, you're not finding one. You're finding 3 diamonds and 3 needles with my trap picks. Buckle up, because if week 2's chaos didn't wake you up, week 3 is about to slap you with a reality check that'll make you rethink every lock bet you've ever placed. The Packers look unstoppable at minus 8.5. The Eagles are barely favored over the Rams. Vikings are going to cash in on the QB drama of the Bengals? Nope. Those are Vegas's slickest traps yet. Favorites are feasting in the early weeks, I have to admit, but regression will come soon. Today, we're dropping 3 bombs, 3 picks that will surprise you. Browns plus 8.5 versus the Packers, Eagles minus 3.5 versus the Rams, and Bengals plus 3.5 at the Vikings. Stick around and I'll show you why those picks will make you money this week. Trap game number 1, and to me the most important game, Packers at Browns plus 8.5. Why will people bet Green Bay? The Packers are going to be strutting into Cleveland 2-0, fresh off dismantling the Colts and the Commanders with Jordan Love slinging dimes. Think 48-yard lasers to Romeo Doubs and 57-yarder to Tucker Kraft, proving they are Super Bowl material after a gritty Week 1 and Week 2 win. Bettors are all in on this hype. Green Bay's offense seems to be legit. They average 27 points per game. Love is turnover free, and now they're laying minus 8.5 against a Browns squad that looks cursed. The public is going to be piling stacks of cash on the Packers as road warriors this week, ignoring the fact that Cleveland has actually a little bit of a home fortress. Don't underestimate the Browns. I'll explain why it's a trap. We like the Browns this week because the line is overvaluing this 2-0 record of the Packers, while the Browns lost to Cincy barely and were outclassed on the road at Baltimore based on the final score when the Ravens were coming off a horrific loss at Buffalo. But hold up. Was that Ravens loss really a blowout? It wasn't. Cleveland dominated the game actually. 322 total yards to Baltimore's measly 242. 72 plays run to their 53. 115 rushing yards on 5.2 yards per carry versus the Ravens that had 53 rushing yards at 2.1 per carry. What does that tell you? The Browns defense is better than they are, and the offense just didn't get it done. Not to mention, the Browns converted 7 of 18 third downs to the Ravens 3 of 12. The score was totally misleading, just due to a couple stupid turnovers on the Browns' part. It was one of Joe Flacco's more clunkier starts on the road, but he's pretty solid, being sacked only 4 times all year, and their run game is no joke. Now, let's fast forward to this week. In his 9th season, Myles Garrett is still a beast. That defense is still good. He is tied for the NFL lead with 3.5 sacks and leading the league with 6 tackles for loss. Garrett mostly lines up across from the left tackle, and the Packers have a strong one with Rasheed Walker. Garrett, no doubt, will get his chance against whoever lines up at right tackle, either injured starter Zach Tom or rookie Anthony Belton. You think those guys can handle Myles Garrett? Rasheed Walker is solid on the left, but Garrett will get his period. Also, for a high-powered Green Bay offensive line, Love's deep ball has been good. They've given him time, but it's not been great. He whiffed 2 short touchdowns to first-round pick Matthew Golden last week, and his risk-taking is going to be critical. Yes, he has no turnovers, but there's been some missed opportunities, and they're going against a ferocious Cleveland defense that actually held the Ravens in check. So what will they do at home going in 0-2 hungry? So to wrap it up, I would avoid betting Green Bay because minus 8.5 is just too many points. It's a pure overreaction to the Week 2 fireworks. Their O-line is not as good as people say. They are ripe for the Browns' disruptive front to feast. The Browns are going to be tough at home and have never been a 6-point or greater underdog at home in the last 5 years. Really take that in. Cleveland's desperate for a win. The fans are going to be like rabid animals, and Flacco will come back to play this week. Final score, Browns 23, Packers 20. If you're enjoying the first pick in the video so far, please take 1 second to subscribe to the channel. It would really mean a lot. Hit me with a like and a little comment and it would be great. Alright, back into it. Trap game 2. Rams at Eagles minus 3.5. Why is it a trap? Vegas has the line at Eagles minus 3.5. But don't let that fool you. They want bettors to think that these teams are somewhat evenly matched. Home teams do get 3 points automatically, so they really think these teams are about even. They are not. The Eagles are the best team in football right now and have been for the past year, and they have firepower to dominate every level of the game. The Rams, they're average at best. Look at Los Angeles' performance so far. In Week 1, they barely scored 14 points at home against a below-average Texas team. Week 2 was no different. They struggled for 3 quarters against the rookie QB-led Titans before scraping out a 33-19 win. Matthew Stafford did do better last week, going 23 for 33 for 298 yards with 2 touchdowns and an interception, but the signs of his age are clear and they are not the same Rams they used to be. Even after a solid stat line, this team shows cracks against competent opponents. Now let's consider Philadelphia. In week 2, the Eagles dominated the Chiefs at home. After Kansas City came off a tough loss to their rivals, the Eagles contained Patrick Mahomes, and they dominated one of the NFL's best teams overall. Their home field advantage at Lincoln Financial gives them a 70% win rate in my opinion, and they'll be looking to make a statement against a middling Rams squad. Offensively, Philadelphia has to leverage Saquon Barkley more, who's averaging about 75 rush yards per game, to control the clock and sustain drives against LA's pretty strong defensive front, can't lie. Jalen Hurts will need to open up the passing game, targeting A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith to stretch this Rams secondary. On defense, Jalen Carter can exploit injuries along the Rams offensive line. If you were here for last week's video, we went over several. They have about 3 missing starters, which will lead to pressure on Stafford. And lastly, the Eagles need to limit big plays. Devontae Adams averages about 12.5 yards per catch, but the Eagles are equipped to neutralize him with their strong safety duo. Even analysts see the discrepancy. Sean McVay hasn't had success against Philly at all. He's about roughly 1-8 in his career against the Eagles. At some point, this Eagles roster, loaded with talent, will come alive. They'll push the pace, open up the offense, and throw the ball downfield more. The Eagles are built to dominate this game and go 3-0. Final prediction, Eagles 31, Rams 21. Vegas is trying to keep the spread close to split bets. Don't fall for it. Moving right along into trap game number 3, Bengals at Vikings minus 3.5. Why is it a trap game? Vegas has the line favoring the Vikings by 3.5, but again, do not let this fool you. They want bettors to think that Joe Burrow being out means Cincinnati has no chance. They're wrong. The Bengals are battle-tested, mentally tough, and fully capable of pulling off a win, even on the road. And one incredible stat is Browning, the backup quarterback, has more passing yards in a single quarter than Joe Burrow had in both games this season. A clear sign that Cincinnati still has that firepower. Not to mention, look at Minnesota's situation. It's not so great. Week 3 will feature Carson Wentz under center, a QB with no preseason experience who was only signed in August. The Vikings, because of this, will struggle to score consistently, and their offense will lack rhythm. Meanwhile, Cincinnati has already shown resilience. The backup quarterback proved that he can win and lead a team under pressure, scoring 21 points in the fourth quarter to beat a talented young Jaguars team. And he pushed them across the goal line, trailing by 3 points to win the game in the final seconds. Even without Joe Burrow due to turf toe, the Bengals still have those weapons. Jamar Chase returned big in week 2 with 14 catches for 165 yards and a touchdown, and he's primed to stretch Minnesota's defense. Trey Hendrickson, who leads the NFL with 25.5 fourth quarter sacks since joining Cincinnati, will pressure the hell out of Vikings quarterback Carson Wentz, and he will do it relentlessly. Injuries on Minnesota are a factor as well, including J.J. McCarthy, again, who has the high ankle sprain, and the rest of their defense being a little lackluster. The reason I would pick the Bengals is because there are a few things that they can do. They can control the clock with a strong running game and short, efficient passing while letting their defense disrupt the Vikings' rhythm, which doesn't have to be a lot, but just enough. Not to mention, Browning has to limit any turnovers. If you lose a turnover battle, you will lose the game. One of the last points I'm going to make is looking into Cincinnati's defense, which is not as bad as people think. 2 defensive players to watch for Cincinnati are Dax Hill and Demetrius Knight Jr. And with Wentz starting, he tends to counter pass rush, which is strong with Hendrickson, with short, quick passes over the middle of the field. Hill and Knight Jr. are actually very well positioned to limit those middle field completions and help keep the Vikings in check. The Vikings don't run many screens, so it will be key to hold coverages for just enough time to let that pass rush get home. So again, why I would not bet the Vikings? Because Vegas is trying to sell this narrative that the Bengals quarterback situation makes them very beatable, but the smart money can see through this. While the Bengals are a tough AFC North team built to grind out wins in hostile environments, they're competing with real teams like the Ravens and the Steelers. With Browning managing the offense efficiently and Chase stretching the field and T. Higgins ready to come alive after only having 6 receptions for less than 100 yards in the first 2 games, which is not characteristic of him, Cincinnati can stay close and potentially pull off an upset. Final prediction, Bengals 27, Vikings 24. Take the Cincinnati Bengals plus 3.5 with confidence. Alright, there you have it. Boom. Your week 3 escape plan. Browns plus 8.5 over any Packers hype. Eagles minus 3.5 dismantling the Rams' stupid illusions. Bengals plus 3.5 shocking Carson Wentz. Fade the noise, bet the truth. These traps are Vegas' guidelines for dumb bettors. Smash the like button, sub for more picks, and please, just one comment makes the world. And I'd like to hear who's your biggest week 3 trap.